Hello and welcome to Tea is Good, Books Are Better, the podcast where we drink tea and talk about books. I'm Raven.
I'm Jess.
We're back again with another episode of A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. Why am I talking like this?
I don't know.
What are we drinking today, Jess?
I am still drinking my ginger honey tea.
Very nice.
Not quite sure which one it is, but it's one of them. And you?
I'm still working on my iced tea because it's still too fucking hot.
Yeah, it's toasty.
Man, my house just gets hotter and hotter as the day goes on. Because we have like a west-facing house, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
So when the sun rises in the morning, it's like at the back of the house and it's like fine. But then in the evening, it like hits the bay windows at the front of the house.
Oh,
And it
awesome.
turns the living room into like a magnifying glass.
Oh my god.
Yeah, even when we close the shades, it just like gets so hot in here. It's like 28 in here right now.
Yikes.
Yeah, I just looked at the
That ain't
thermostat.
me.
Yeah. And it's a cruel joke as well because it's 24 outside and it's 28 inside.
Really doesn't help when you live upstairs somewhere. Heat rises.
Yeah, like mom's place downstairs is so much cooler.
Same here. Like if I go upstairs, it's like a fucking sauna.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm so happy down here.
The thing is, though, I can complain about the heat and the sun all I want, but I am so much happier during summer and fall. Or like late springs and then summer and then early fall.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like the days are longer and I guess seasonal depression is a thing that I have. Like I'm so miserable during winter.
I get that. I'm definitely a lot more happy with constant sunlight.
Yeah. So I just wanted to point out that as much as I complain about the heat and the sun, mostly the heat, I don't really complain about the sun. As much as I complain about it, I love summer and I wish it could last forever. I do love fall though. I love fall too.
Same. I love spring, summer, and fall because they're warm.
Spring
Or
is so
warm-ish.
rainy though. I'm not a big fan of spring.
I like the rain. It irritates me.
Yeah, pass.
We live in a goddamn rainforest and you hate the rain.
We live in a rainforest?
Yeah, the biggest one in North America.
The fuck are you on about?
Uh-huh.
What?
Uh-huh.
Are you joking?
No.
Hold on.
America.
What? How is this a rainforest? What are you talking about?
What do you mean what are you talking about? This is a rainforest.
What? I've literally never heard that in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I learned this in college. Let me find.
We live in a rainforest?
British Columbia. The Great Bear Rainforest. It's in BC.
Great Bear Rainforest.
British
That is
Columbia. That's why
way
it rains
north.
so much here.
What? 6.4 million hectares. Damn.
There is currently 5 in BC. There's Sook, Bella Coola, Cathedral Grove, Terrace, Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim. That's just a movie to me.
It's on the west coast of Vancouver Island. Lower mainland, Pacific Rim.
Okay. No. It's north of us.
Let me see.
It's like just north of Vancouver, but it doesn't even touch Surrey or Langley. Let me show you this picture I'm looking at in the Discord.
Yeah, that's above us.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this coastal temperate rainforest by Science World. Found on the coast of the lower mainland. Blah, 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 blah. It's basically explaining the coniferous trees.
I mean, I can see us having some, like, proximity effects with the rainforest being so close, but I've never in my life heard that we live in a rainforest.
I heard it in college, but my college wasn't studying. Or were we? Was this at university? I remember going to parks and like taking notes on all of the plants we saw in my biology class.
Oh, interesting.
But
Yeah, because every map I look at, it ends above Vancouver.
what is a coastal temperate rainforest? Because that's what they were describing the lower mainland.
I guess because it's on the coast.
Temperate rainforests are coniferous or broadleaf forests that occur in temperate zone and receive heavy rains. But we could very well be getting the effects of that.
Yeah, I see
pretty
us
close.
getting the effects of it.
That's the Great Bear.
Anyway, this is it.
Rain is hot here, and it rains a lot. Like a lot. Like people call it Raincouver.
Yeah, but I feel like that's exaggerated. I don't think it rains that much.
I don't think so either.
Like,
But like we're used to the rain. Like I've had people, like I know people who've left BC, like left the lower mainland just because they could not stand how much it rains.
what? These people
Yeah,
are...
like my teacher in college, like that was her last year in BC because she was like, "Fuck this! I hate the rain. I'd rather snow." And she moves to Alberta.
Ew. All right.
Like,
Enjoy
you'd
Alberta.
rather snow to rain.
Gross.
Like, since when does rain like fuck up your day? Like snow can.
I like. You live in the Bahamas of Canada and you're moving to Alberta?
Exactly the best place, like temperature wise. Worst place. One of the worst places when it comes to housing.
Oh god.
Housing
Let's
market.
not even get into that.
The housing market.
Good
You're
lord.
like,
Hey, do you want to spend $2 million on a 5-foot apartment? Welcome to Vancouver.
you want to buy 3 acres of land? It's cheap at 1 point some odd million.
I hope you're as rich as Jeff Bezos if you want to live in Vancouver.
Yeah. It is fucked. Even rent is fucked.
Yep. Alright. Let's get into where we left off our characters. And let's stop talking about temperate rainforests.
Dany betrays the masters and has them all slaughtered by her dragons and the Unsullied.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. The Arya, the Hound, comes back, demands his gold, and Gendry chooses to join the Merry Men to blacksmith for them, making Arya feel betrayed.
Yep. We haven't had a Dany chapter in a long while.
Yeah, she's becoming pretty scarce.
Yeah. The last time was when she got the Unsullied. But, this chapter's pretty much equal in awesomeness. Maybe not quite as equal, but it's close.
It's pretty fucking awesome. Her chapters are getting better and better.
They might be few and far between, but they are, every one of them, dope. Alright, here we go. Chapter 42 is Daenerys. Dany and Jorah look across the fields to see the Yunkish host, which looks to be about 5,000 men. Their banners show a harpy grasping a whip and iron collar, instead of a length of chain like the Astaporian. So they have the same, like, sigil, basically, except the harpy's just holding something else.
Yeah, basically the same culture.
Yeah. Dany asks Jorah if they can defeat this army, and he says easily. It's made up of sellswords and slave soldiers, though these slave soldiers are not equal to the Unsullied. Yunkai is known for training bed slaves, not warriors. Dany considers. Yunkai is forewarned, and the sellswords are a horse, so she may win the battle, but it won't be bloodlessly. So she tells Jorah to send word that she will invite the slavers and the captains of the sellsword companies to her tent. It's implied that her intent is to hear them out and try to make a deal. Back at camp, Dany sees the Unsullied are halfway through digging the ditch around their camp, and are making stakes out of tree branches. Grey Worm is there watching the work. He is the highest ranking the Unsullied selected when Dany commanded they choose officers from amongst themselves. I thought that was pretty cool how the guy who sold the Unsullied to her told her that they, like, would need to be given officers and they wouldn't be able to have them from amongst themselves, pretty much.
Yeah.
But Dany proved him wrong.
Yeah. He just didn't want any of them to have authority.
Yeah, because he doesn't want them thinking for themselves, but I guess once you give them freedom. After the fall of Astapor, one of the first things Dany did was abolish the custom of giving the Unsullied new slave names every day.
Good.
Yes. I don't know if I mentioned that in the previous episode, but that was a thing. They chose new names every day.
Yeah.
But Grey Worm elected to keep the name he drew the day Dany set him free, as he thinks it's lucky. Dany left Astapor in the hands of a council of former slaves led by a healer, a scholar, and a priest. Yet tens of thousands of the ex-slaves elected to follow her to Yunkai, and they are more burden than benefit. And
Yeah.
it's just a bunch of people who are, like, eating the food that they don't have, and, like...
Is eating the bear.
Yeah.
And it's not just a bunch of people. It's like a freaking horde of slaves.
Yeah.
They are following them.
And, like, they're not going to be useful in a battle, so... Yeah. An hour later, Dany is in her tent when Jorah arrives with 3 captains of the Storm Crows, one of the sellsword companies. One of them, I didn't write down his name, so let's call him Bob. He basically tells her to fuck off, and says Yunkai won't fall as easily as Astapor. Dany points out the odds of their 500 Storm Crows versus her 10,000 Unsullied, yet he is unmoved. She tells them to join her and claim a share of the plunder. Bob calls her woman, and she laughs, asking if it's meant to be an insult, and then tells him all her titles. But he says she's a horse lord's whore, and he will breed her to his stallion when they defeat her. Okay, Bob. Dany tells him to go back and tell his Brotherhood of Free Men what she offered, and she wants their answer on the morrow. Bob says their answer is no, and leaves. One of the other captains, though, who is with Bob, named Daario, looks back and inclines his head in a polite farewell as he leaves. Okay, so Dany might have this Daario guy on her side.
Could you describe how he looks?
He's like he looks like a punk from 2002.
2002 pump?
2002 punk.
I was gonna describe him as a clown.
A clown? I was thinking, like...
ridiculous, man.
Well, he has, like, blue hair.
Uh-huh.
What else? Like, eyeliner?
Does he have blue mustache, or is it a yellow mustache? No, it's got
No.
blue.
What? I thought he was clean-shaven.
Some drawings. Really?
Yeah, I think... Yeah, no, he is clean-shaven, because later on she compares him to Jorah. And mentions that he's clean-shaven.
I wonder if he grows a beard later on, because a lot of these drawings of Daario depict him with a blue beard and a yellow mustache.
Okay, well, let me double-check, just so I don't embarrass myself. Daario Naharis was flamboyant, even for a Tiroshi. Oh shit, he does have a beard. Fuck.
Oh,
His beard was cut into 3 prongs and dyed blue, the same color as his eyes, and the curly hair that fell to his collar. Yeah, so he has a blue beard and blue hair and blue eyes. His pointed mustachios were painted gold, His clothes were all shades of yellow, a foam of Moorish lace the color of butter spilled from his collars and cuffs. His doublet was sewn with brass medallions in the shape of dandelions, and ornamental goldwork crawled up his high leather boots to his thighs. Gloves of soft yellow suede were tucked into a belt of gilded rings, and his fingernails were enameled blue. So a lot of blue and a lot of yellow on this guy.
Mm-hmm. He makes golden blue. I
Yeah.
sent you a picture.
Blue hair. Yeah, blue hair, blue beard, and a yellow mustache.
He looks a bit ridiculous. It kind of reminds me of the Hunger Games, where the wealthy people in the cities live. How they're
Yeah.
described as being ridiculous looking.
Yeah. So true. Alright, so that's Dario.
Yeah.
Later, the commander of the Second Sons arrives. His name is Miro, or Mero? Miro? And he immediately starts telling Dany he wants to fuck her, pretty much.
Cool.
She tells him she wants the Second Sons on her side, and does a good job of deflecting his advances by threatening to have him gelded. When he starts to consider joining her, though, she kinda starts to let him think he might have a chance with her. And she can sense Jorah's anger at this turn in conversation. Dany tells Miro to think on what she said and return tomorrow with his answer. He agrees and asks for a flagon of wine to take back to his captains. She sends him away with a wagon of wine, telling him to drink to her health, and he says they will and leaves. Arstan Whitebeard tells Dany that this man has an evil reputation. He may drink to her health tonight, but will rape her tomorrow. Jorah agrees that he's dangerous, but Dany says she doesn't want his reputation, she wants his 500 horse. She asks if there's any chance the Storm Crows will join, but Jorah says no. He suspects the one who did most of the talking probably had kin in Astapor. As the sun is going down, the envoys from Yunkai arrive. One of them, Grazdan, tells her taking Yunkai will be no easy feat, and he will make slaves of her and all her people. He says she did savage things in Astapor, but the Yunkai are a forgiving people, and tells her it would be a waste to squander her strength here. He then shows that he brought a gift to prove that they wish her well, a chest filled with gold. Dany says she'll find many chests like this when she takes their city, but Grazdan says she'll find none, for she will never take Yunkai. Dany says she has a gift for him as well. 3 days. On the morning of the 3rd day, Yunkai must send out all their slaves and open the gates to allow the Unsullied to enter and make sure all the slaves have been freed. Then she will spare the city from burning and plundering. Damn, I like how she's, like, very confident in herself.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna fucking destroy them, whether they like it or not.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't, like... They say these guys are saying a lot of shit. And a lot of shit about her, but she's just, like, not having it. And I'm like, hell yeah! Queen! Literally. Grazdan says she's mad, and she says Dracarys. Her dragons hiss and spit flames, and Grazdan's tokar, his, like, robe or whatever, catches fire. He freaks out, and Whitebeard douses him with water to extinguish the flames. He wails that she promised him safe conduct, but she basically rolls her eyes and says she'll buy him a new tokar if he delivers the slaves. Grazdan tells her she will rue her arrogance and leaves. Later that night, after darkness falls, Dany tells Jorah it's time to mount their attack. I was like, yo, what? That's not what you said. Sick. It's the perfect time, though. The Stormcrows will be arguing about her offer, the Second Sons will be drunk on the wine she gave Miro, and the Yunkai believe they have 3 days. She's so clever.
Yeah.
I like how she said multiple times that she is not wise in the ways of war.
Mm-hmm.
But I think she's wiser than she claims.
Yeah, she's making them underestimate her.
Yeah. She knows how to play the game, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She explains her plan of attack to Grey Worm, Jorah, and Jogo, and Jorah mentions that she is truly Rhaegar Targaryen's sister. As preparations are being made, Jorah busts into her tent and says the Unsullied caught one of the sellswords trying to sneak into their camp. It's Dario! The one that came with the Stormcrows. He says he has gifts. Dany agrees to hear him, remembering that he's the one who politely inclined his head as he left. As Jorah delivers him, she compares the two of them. And I think it implies that she's somewhat attracted to Daario.
Yeah.
Because she thinks
She
that,
is.
like, he's young and Jorah's not. He has blue eyes and Jorah's got poo brown eyes. And
He's got shit eyes.
he's got eyes of shit. Eyes that look like shit. Daario says the storm crows are hers and upends a sack that contains the heads of the other two captains that came with him earlier, including Bob. He says he did this because she's so beautiful and he didn't like the other captains anyway. She asks him about his blades and he tells her he doesn't consider a day lived unless he has loved a woman, killed a man, and eaten a fine meal. And Dany decides she likes his swagger. And it literally says swagger. I was like, what?
So why? Well, hell yeah. The guy knows how to, I guess. You'd be into that.
Yeah,
Attracted to, like, the pure confidence.
yeah, and swag.
Yeah, when a man has swag, it's kind of hard not to notice.
Very true. And it's hard to define swag, too, because I think swag is different for, like, every dude.
Yeah.
Like, there's different types of swag.
A lot of people, like, think about Justin Bieber when they say the word swag.
Ew, what?
That is not what I think.
No, that is not what I think of swag.
Like, a lot of people, like, don't like the word swagger anymore because Justin Bieber apparently ruined it.
It was Justin Bieber? Really?
I don't know. Apparently when he was younger, he used to say he had swag
Ew.
a lot.
Who's someone, like, unexpected who has swag? There's, like, so many different types of swag, though. Because I feel like, Robert Downey Jr.,
Absolutely.
he has, like, this kind of distinguished swag.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas someone like Andy Samberg, this motherfucker has swag, but it's more like comedic.
Uh-huh.
And I'd define them both as swag.
Like, not too serious. Yep.
Yeah, it's just the way you
Definitely.
carry yourself, I think.
Yeah.
Alright, so Daario swears his service, and Dany tells him to fight for her tonight. Jorah tells her that's unwise, and they should keep him under guard until the battle is won. He could betray her. But Dany says he won't. The heads are proof of his sincerity. The dragons, by the way, are now burning and eating the heads. Right in front of them.
Oh, man.
Yup.
Can you imagine if they included that in the show?
Oh, God.
That's a bit much for TV.
Oh, yeah. Dany tells Daario to have his Stormcrows ready to strike the Yunkish rear when her attack begins. And he leaves. Jorah then tells her she's made a mistake, but Dany is thinking of Daario's blue eyes. Jorah says he's thrice her age and has seen how false men are, but Dany suddenly snaps. She points out that he's always telling her every man is untrustworthy. Pyat Pri, Zaro, Belwas, Arstan. Is he the only man she should ever trust? Jorah tries to deny it, but she continues, saying she honors, respects, and cherishes him, but she does not desire him, and she's wary of him trying to push every other man in the world away from her so that she must rely on him alone. She says it will not serve, and it will not make her love him any better. Damn!
Yep. It gotta be. I'm gonna stick it.
That was,
You gotta straight
very
up tell him.
honest, yeah.
Back off, Jorah. This is not going to happen.
Jorah is clearly embarrassed and shocked, and he coldly says he'll do as she commands, and she just dismisses him. Dany feels lonely all of a sudden, and thinks about how Mirri Mazdur promised she would never bear a living child. So Dany turns to her dragons and tells them they must be her children. Drogon leaps on her, and they play around, Dany laughing. She realizes he's growing quickly now, as are the other two. When they are grown, she'll be able to ride them into battle. She spends the night waiting anxiously as the battle is fought. The hours creep by while her handmaids comfort her. Eventually, she asks for Arstan, and when he comes, she wants to know more about Rhaegar. She mentions Viserys told her Rhaegar won many tourneys, and after some prodding, Arstan reveals Rhaegar seldom entered the lists, to be honest. He was a good fighter, but he didn't love the way of swords, and Dany is slightly disappointed. Interesting. Why do you think this would be disappointing to her?
About, what's his face?
Rhaegar. Not liking fighting.
Huh.
Maybe.
Do you think she grew up on tales? That he was a brave warrior?
Yeah. Viserys told her that Rhaegar won many tourneys, so I guess she has this idea of him
Being
in her head.
this really brave, formidable guy, and then just being told he wasn't a fighter.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to be like, oh, what?
He was a lover, not a fighter.
Yep.
It's not untrue.
True.
Arstan does tell her about a tourney at Storm's End, where Rhaegar defeated Lord Steffan Baratheon, Lord Jason Mallister, the Red Viper of Dorne, hello, and a mystery knight who turned out to be the infamous Simon Toyne. But Rhaegar wasn't the champion that day. Another knight of the Kingsguard unhorsed Prince Rhaegar in the final tilt. But Dany doesn't want to hear about Rhaegar being unhorsed. She asks what tourneys he's won. I thought this was pretty significant. Like, she doesn't want to hear about him losing.
No.
I guess she likes to think of herself as being like Rhaegar, and others tell her she's like Rhaegar.
Yeah.
Jorah especially. So she doesn't want to think that Rhaegar could be defeated, because then that means that she could be defeated.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And also, like, if you grow up with this image of someone in your head, and you come to worship, like, that image of them, and then suddenly you find out they're not like that, that would be hard to hear.
It would.
But they're not, like, at the same time, they're not saying he was bad at fighting and he was a loser, because he wasn't. He won a lot. Like, he defeated people, I mean. Maybe he didn't win the whole tourney, but he defeated people. But, yeah. Whitebeard tells her Rhaegar won the tourney Lord Went staged at Harrenhal in the year of the false spring. This is that same fucking tourney that I feel like we've read about. Yeah. We've read about this like 4 times now.
Yep.
It's the one the little Crannig man fought at, right?
Yep.
From Mira's story in a previous Bran chapter.
Yep, that's the one where he named Lyanna something beauty.
The Queen of Love and Beauty.
Yep.
Yep. Dany actually thinks about that too. She knows that's the tourney where Rhaegar crowned Lyanna Stark as the Queen of Love and Beauty and later stole her away from her betrothed. And Dany wonders how her brother could do that. And Whitebeard says that Princess Elia, his wife, was a good lady, but her health was delicate. Dany says Viserys once told her it was her fault for being born too late. If she was born in a more timely manner, Rhaegar would have married her instead of Elia, and everything would have been different.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I guess so.
Yeah. She says if Rhaegar had been happy with his wife, he wouldn't have needed the Stark Girl. But Whitebeard says he isn't certain it was in Rhaegar to be happy. He had a sense of melancholy and doom about him. He was born in grief, and it was the shadow of Summerhall that haunted him. And I was like, what the damn hell is this?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is? The shadow of Summerhall?
The shadow of Summerhall haunts Rhaegar. I feel like that's something we're going to learn about as we get deeper into Rhaegar. Probably the next book.
Yeah. Whitebeard does say that Summerhall was the place that Rhaegar loved the best, though, even if it haunted him. He would go alone from time to time with his harp and sleep in the ruined hall. So it's a hall.
Something definitely happened there.
So something happened there, yeah.
I don't know where it is.
Me neither. His songs were sad, and it seemed like he sang of himself and those he loved. I'm wondering if Summerhall, is that the place where how do I describe this without giving spoilers? Is that the place where, like, we find out stuff? You know what I mean? Winky, 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 winky.
What?
No? Don't know what I'm getting at?
No.
We find out, like, the thing, you know? The thing.
Now I gotta look real south. Because that was around Dorne.
That was in Dorne?
Yeah, it was down south.
Where the fuck is Summerhall?
Where the fuck is Summerhall?
Where the fuck is Summerhall?
I found it!
Where is it?
It's down below the reach. Like, basically, you look where the god's eye is, right?
I see it.
Down. It is down pretty close to Dorne.
It is very close.
High Garden, eh?
Yeah. It's, like, east of Highgarden.
Oh, hey, look, there's Tarth.
Oh.
Pretty close.
Oh, and it's west of Storm's End.
In Tarth.
Where's Tarth? Why do I not see Tarth?
It's never east of Storm's End. It's the little island.
Oh, Brienne of Tarth.
Yeah, that's Tarth.
Okay, so that is not far from Dorne. That's not far from Dorne. That could be the place.
It is south of King's Landing.
Maybe, I mean, it wouldn't make sense why he was so sad there all the time, though. Like, what else had happened there, you know?
Yeah, what? I'd like to figure out what happened there that traumatized him so.
Mm-hmm. Dany asks if the usurper played sad songs as well. Arston chuckles and says Robert liked songs that made him laugh, and he only sang when he was drunk. And he starts saying Robert was much, but then he's interrupted by the sound of horses outside. I wonder what he was going to say about Robert, though.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I just know it's not random. George R.R. Martin chose that spot for him to be interrupted.
Yeah.
Jorah enters the tent, splattered with blood, but he seems fine otherwise. He says he brings victory. The Stormcrows turned their cloaks, the slaves broke, and the second sons were too drunk to fight, just as she said.
Nice.
200 dead, Yunkai for the most part. Their slaves threw down their spears and ran, and their sellswords yielded. There are several thousand captives, and Jorah says their own losses are at a dozen at most. Damn!
Nice.
Yunkai fell like a bitch.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I guess the city hasn't fallen yet, but their little host outside sure did. Dany is very pleased. She asks about Grazdan and Miro, and Jorah tells her Grazdan went to Yunkai to deliver her terms, so he will be in the city. And Miro fled when he saw the Stormcrows turned, and there are men hunting him now. Dany tells him to spare anyone who pledges her their faith. The next day they march to the city. The wall and towers swarm with crossbowmen and slingers. I was like, what are slingers? But maybe they're trebuchets? Slingers.
Maybe like less woody, more ropey.
Yeah, so maybe it's like a more ghetto version of a trebuchet. So Dany settles down to wait. On the third day, the gates open, and a line of slaves emerge. As they pass, Missandei tells them they owe their freedom to Daenerys Stormborn, the Unburnt, Queen of the Seven Kingdoms of Westeros and Mother of Dragons. One man shouts Misa at her, and the others start to join in. Dany asks Missandei what they're saying. They're speaking Giscari, and Missandei says the word means mother. Dany feels light as a feather at this. She remembers she will never bear a living child. She must be smiling, because the man who shouted grins and shouts again, and others start to take up the cry. The freed slaves call out in different tongues, but it all means the same thing. The slaves run toward her, trying to touch her, which frightens her horse. Jorah urges her to go, but she says they won't hurt her, they are her children. She rides to them, hearing them call her mother. And that's the end of that chapter. Lots of...
It's one of the visions she had.
Oh shit, is
House
it?
of the Undying. Yeah, running around a bunch of slaves, as they call mother.
Oh damn, I forgot about that.
Riding past the slaves, yeah.
lots of powerful moments with Dany lately, and she's having a lot of victories.
Yeah.
So I worry about when and how she's gonna get screwed.
So far, she's becoming quite the conqueror.
And
next stop, Marine.
Oh yeah, is that next?
Yeah. The 3 great slave cities. She already took 2. 1 left.
Damn, she's just powering through them.
Didn't take much to take them either.
Yeah. I mean, it took a lot of brains, but apparently Dany has that in excess. So I completely forgot about that part about her vision, though. That's cool. It makes me wonder, like, God, how far in advance does George plan this shit?
Man, I have no idea. Maybe he has like a general idea of what he wants to happen, but then the characters take it from there.
Yeah, but it's like you have to commit to that one scene, which means so many different things have to fall into place for that one scene to happen.
True.
So, like, dang, it's just, I don't know. He just impresses me all the time.
Me too. I'm like always mind blown. Like really good stories like this, especially when they come together. I'm like, damn.
I was hanging out with some friends last weekend, and Bahram, actually, the guy who made our jingle, he asked me, we were like talking about creating or whatever, because he's a musician and he's been working on a lot of stuff lately. He asked me how I would compare like J.R.R. Tolkien to George R.R. Martin or something like that. I forget what he asked me. Anyway, it's not important. What I ended up saying about George R.R. Martin, and I like realized this in that moment, I think he is the most proficient writer that I've ever read.
Who said that?
Me.
Oh. Really?
Like, yeah, I kind of realized that when he asked me.
Oh. Damn.
When it comes to storytelling, I don't know if anyone has him beat.
Oh, damn.
I mean, from what I've read, and I haven't read every book in the world, so I can't say he is the best, but just based on who I've read, I feel like I notice new things every chapter, and it's like, how? Every time I'm like, how is this? How does he do this? And you know, there are like other writers where, yeah, the story is great, but like the level of storytelling is just, it's a completely different ballgame. Like, you know, they're playing checkers and George R.R. Martin is playing 60 chess.
I agree. I really enjoy his style of writing. Really good.
But I feel like it's not, I'm not even talking about like his style of writing or like his word choice or like anything like that. It's
the way he tells the story.
It's the storytelling itself, like how things connect, how he reveals things is like massive, I think. Massive, I mean like very significant, and he's like mastered it. The technique, the scale of the reveal.
Yeah.
Which is like something that, I mean, I've tried so many different ways, and like it's just, it's a craft, and he's an artist, and
I agree.
I mean, I talk about this a lot on this podcast, and I feel like I never have the right words to really describe what I mean when I'm talking about his storytelling.
I agree.
What do you think? Yeah?
And like, no wonder D&D couldn't keep up after season 4.
Yeah, because it's like, he might give them the points that are going to happen, which he did.
Sure. Sure.
But it's like, it's that mastery of how to reveal these different things.
Like, they're just not the same storyteller.
And how to make those connections, and it's all in the storytelling, and yeah. I used to say, like, my passion is books or my passion is writing or whatever, but I think I'm realizing my passion is storytelling.
Ooh. That's exactly what humans are good at.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because, like, the medium doesn't matter to me if it's, like, a good story and it's told well.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, I could go on for hours about how much I admire his writing. But anyway, I just thought it was kind of funny that I didn't really realize that until Bahram asked me. And I was like, you know what? He is the most proficient storyteller I've ever read.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you think Bahram's gonna get on the train and check them out?
The Game of Thrones train?
Yeah.
He's
Or
watched the
Song of Ice
show.
and Fire.
He's
Song
watched
of Ice and... He watches the show?
He has watched the show. So I know he's into the story, but I don't know if he's done any, if he's read it at all. I don't even really know if he's much of a reader, but
Mm-hmm.
I know he likes the story. But yeah, anyway, what do you think? That was me going on and on and on, and you're saying you agree, but like, what, like, how would you compare him to other writers?
I don't think I've read any other book that had as many twists and turns, and like the moments where you're like grabbing your chair, like wah, wah. They kind of like scared a little bit, but yeah, I don't think I've ever read a book that can do that to me. Constantly keep me on my toes, constantly changing, and like, or like even like things coming together, and it's like so epic.
Yeah, I
That's
think
like my
epic is a good
favorite
word.
thing. When things start piling together and something happens, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Ah, God, it's just like, there are so many other books and stories though that have like tons of twists and turns and reveals, but it's not the same. I don't know how to describe it, but Game of Thrones, I think it's the mastery of the reveal. He knows how much to give and when to give information to the reader.
Yep. It's so good at it.
Yeah.
Where did you learn your stuff?
And I think that this story, it's an amazing story, but if anyone else told it, it would not be the same. Which maybe seems obvious, but like, even if you gave this story to another very excellent writer,
Yeah.
I don't think it would be the same, because the great thing about Game of Thrones is not just the story.
You're like invested in the characters, you're invested in the lore of their land that they're living in.
Yeah, the world building
Like,
is huge too.
So much. Like, it feels so believable. Like, this world actually exists. Compared to other stories I've read. Like, you're right there with them.
Yeah, another huge thing is the characters. They're all so complex, but like feel so real, and all their decisions make so much sense, and you're like, yeah, of course, that's, you're never at a point where you're like, wait, why would they do that? It's like, but he doesn't like tell you these things about their characters. You like learn it by him showing you like who they are. Which is also like a mastery of dialogue and a mastery of action.
I agree.
I still feel like I'm not getting it across how impressive it is. I'm like, how many things can I say about this? It's not enough.
Go off, girl. But first, let me finish my chapter.
Oh, fuck, you're not done?
Then you can go off with how good George is at telling story.
Wait, what chapter?
Arya, you only did Dany.
You know what? That's probably gonna be it. We're at almost an hour already.
Oh my god, your rant.
Yeah, excuse me while I rant about George.
How when he tells stories, it feels like not like he is saying what's going on with the characters, but it's more like you're following the characters. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think I kind of get what you mean.
Like, he's not, like, directing the characters in his book. That he's just watching them with you.
Yeah, almost like he's making a documentary.
Yeah. Like, that's how believable, like, the characters are and how they stay true to themselves. Like,
Mm-hmm.
none of that goddamn... What is it? Lot armor?
Yeah.
None of that dumbass
No.
bullshit that you get in many a story.
And I feel like maybe this would be seen as a negative thing, and maybe I'm probably not saying this right, but I feel like the characters never really surprise you. Like with Jaime, him turning out to be like a not so bad guy, it's like maybe at first you'd be a little bit surprised, but it's like, wait, this makes total sense.
Yeah, he's totally a person too, despite, like the gross things that he's done. Like, he is a genuine human being, and you can actually kind of relate a little bit.
Yeah, and you like look back at his story, at like how he has lived his life, and you're like, yeah. Yeah,
Like, I get it.
of course.
Okay.
And it's not just like, oh, I guess that makes sense. It's like, no, of course. Of course.
Yeah. Like, he's not some random evil two-dimensional villain. Like, that's just a human being with his own motives, his own ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. I just feel like I could go on and on and on and on, but I would just end up saying like the same thing a million different ways. And I'm very like inarticulate, I think. I'm not good at explaining what I'm thinking, which is why I write, because I don't talk very well. Anyway, my point is that my apologies if you have no idea what I'm saying, because I barely do too. I know what I'm trying to say in my head, but it never comes out right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty funny for a person who has a podcast.
Is it?
Yeah, someone who can barely
But
talk has a podcast.
Listen, we're amateurs.
This is why we talk about other people's content.
We're just here having fun.
Yeah.
Doing our thing. People like us. Awesome.
I hope that, I feel like I'm learning a lot.
Ooh, that's great.
Yeah. I think that, I mean, reading just casually and for fun is one thing, but when you force yourself to, like, break down what it is exactly is happening, and not just story-wise, but also, like, storytelling-wise, I think you learn a lot, and I definitely am.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad. Ooh. That's how you grow.
What do you think is like, you feel like you're learning stuff too? So I don't want to speak for you. That's just how I feel.
I don't think I'm learning so much because writing is not a passion of mine.
Okay.
It's not something I'm interested in, but I am definitely enjoying this book. These books. And like compared to like fantasy novels that are older, like say
Tolkien.
A Hobbit.
Yeah.
Tolkien, yeah. Like, this is a very easy read.
Oh.
Like, its story is so good. It flows so nicely. Like, there's no, like with all the, like, how, like, did you say that, like, half a book was a description of Bilbo's house?
No awkward exposition. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was
Like-
also, it wasn't just an old school fantasy thing. It was very much an old school thing. And writers have
Yeah.
adapted as, like, people's attention spans have changed.
As technology has ruined our attention spans, they've had to do a better job at keeping our attention.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
But like I was saying, like these books are just as thick as the token books, and with words just as tiny as the token books.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just breeze through these easily. They're good.
Yeah.
It's definitely on par with the show up to season 4. Well, I'll be kind and say up to season 7, because there's some good episodes in season 6.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess technically there's some good episodes in season 7, but it's still really good taking it down. There.
Yeah, still like, I mean, I think season 7 was still very entertaining, but I think the reveals were starting to become like kind of sudden and quick and like
yeah,
and a lot.
It wasn't the slow burn I'm used to.
Yeah, it was like whoa. It doesn't really give you that.
Feel like Game of Thrones anymore.
Yeah, it didn't really give you that time to like breathe and process and
digest a little,
and it kind of made them have less impact.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I am surprised that you say you don't feel like you're learning anything.
Like, I don't know what I would be learning. What would I be learning?
I mean, we've talked about a lot of things.
Like, the things that you point out to me, I guess technically, I'm not, like, truly committing this to memorization. Like, really putting it in my brain. It's just like, she mentioned that. Cool, I'll find it in other books.
What about the plan thing?
The planning? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember that from other books, but that's it. There's no... Actually, there's things that happen in real life where I'm like, Like, this one time I was, like, describing to Johnny a plan I'm trying to do, and it's suddenly... I shouldn't describe it to him, otherwise it's not gonna work.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, like, it's hitting my life. Like, I'm reading somewhere that if you have goals, you should keep it to yourself, because for some reason, if other people, they tend to not happen. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, this is like a psychology thing. And I'm like, huh? Raven told me? Is it the plot? Tell the plan it doesn't happen.
Oh shit, the plot thickens. That's funny.
And it's not like truly like me learning new things. Like, this is just something that's suddenly become another part of my life.
I would disagree though, because I think that you're like, when we're reading stuff now, you're like looking out and you're noticing and you're being like, you know what? He said this thing, but that means it's not gonna happen. And I'm like, aha!
Aw, you feel proud?
I taught you a thing.
My student is learning.
Yeah, but I also think just like subconsciously, as we're breaking down like the chapters and what makes them good and what makes them bad, we're both of us learning about storytelling and what is effective and what is not.
You might be right, because I am paying more attention to that stuff when usually I would just breeze through the book.
Yeah.
I am paying attention to how it was written. And I guess maybe that's how I'm learning.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like
paying attention.
You just start to notice patterns, I think. And like techniques.
Yeah.
And I'm not like trying to claim credit for this. I think just like when you start to talk about these things in a story, you subconsciously just start noticing them more.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been talking for over an hour now.
Far too long.
And we only did one chapter. Wow. It's our first single chapter in a long time.
You were disappointed.
I think it was a good enough chapter that it won't be disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, her Dany chapters are pretty bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Yeah.
1, 2,
anyway.
3, 4, 5, 6.
What?
In 6 chapters, there's a bunch of Catelyn and Arya chapters condensed together.
Oh no. 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 No.
How many weeks is that?
We're over
6
halfway
chapters?
through.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably going to be like 3 more episodes. 3 or 4 more episodes. Until we're there. Oh my god.
Yup.
I might actually like have anxiety reading that chapter.
You know, right?
Like I already kind of feel my heartbeat.
Those chapters. Yeah, I was like going through like trying to write down the different chapters, and yeah, these ones are short and condensed, and I'm like, oh fuck, I
They're
know what's
short.
happening here.
Oh
Like,
no.
there's probably a lot of action going on. It's like
Oh fuck.
boom, from each person's point of view of what's happening.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna go have a panic attack. So thank you so much for listening. If you want more of the podcast, please follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast at TIGBAB Podcast, or you can follow us separately. My handle is Crimby, Jess's is just.egan24. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search TIGBAB Podcast or Tea is Good, Books Are Better, and we should show up there. Also, please subscribe to our good friend Bahrami on YouTube. He's the one who made our jingle, which you heard at the start of this episode, and he's a really cool guy and makes dope stuff, so check him out. And you can also join our Patreon, patreon.com/teaisgoodbooksarebetter. We have a few different tea-themed tiers with fun rewards, such as behind-the-scenes content, outtakes, and mini-episodes in which we force our brother to watch Game of Thrones, which he hates. So you will be getting something in return for your contribution, and you'd also be helping us improve the podcast with better equipment. But we also just appreciate you listening. And please don't forget to share the podcast with your family and your friends. It is the best way for us to grow. Hello?
Yeah.
All right. It's coming. Don't stress too much. I'll stress enough for all of us.
I'll stay chill. You can have my stress.
Thank you. I will take it on, not gladly. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.